The Sign of 4, 1890. Episode 6. The Secret of the Agra Treasure. Welcome back, detective friend. Last episode ended with an unlikely alliance as Tonga agreed to help rescue Jonathan Small from the Thames. But as we race to save a man who may be both criminal and victim, the true story behind the Agra treasure is about to unfold, and it's far more complex than anyone imagined. Picture the scene. You're aboard Inspector Lestrade's modified police launch, cutting through the fog-shrouded Thames at maximum speed. Tonga sits rigidly beside you, his eyes scanning the dark waters for any sign of the Aurora. Holmes studies a nautical chart while Watson tends to his medical bag, preparing for whatever we might find. The 3 sharp whistle blasts, the international distress signal, echo hauntingly across the water. But they've stopped now, leaving only the steady churn of your boat's engine and the lap of Thames water against the hull. What does the silence mean, detective friend? Has the Aurora sunk, or are Small and his companions still fighting for survival? Tonga suddenly points ahead, his keen eyes spotting something in the fog. There, steam and smoke, but not moving. Through the murk, you can make out the silhouette of a boat, listing heavily to one side. The Aurora sits low in the water, her steam engine silent, black smoke pouring from what appears to be damage near her boiler room. Holmes lowers his spyglass grimly. Boiler explosion by the look of it. Lestrade, can we approach safely? Aye, but carefully, the inspector replies. If that boiler's still unstable, we could be in danger ourselves. As you draw closer, a voice calls out weakly across the water. Help, please, help us. It's Jonathan Small, clinging to the tilted deck of his damaged vessel. But he's not alone. There's another figure beside him, unconscious and badly injured. What's your first priority, detective friend? Ensuring your own safety, rescuing the survivors, or securing evidence of their crimes? Tonga makes the decision for everyone. Without warning, he dives into the Thames, swimming powerfully toward his wounded companion. Good God, Watson exclaims. The man's risking his life. Holmes watches with obvious respect. Loyalty like that transcends any legal definition of right and wrong, Watson. Within minutes, Tonga has reached the Aurora and is helping Small support their injured companion, a third man you hadn't expected to see. Lestrade maneuvers the police launch alongside the sinking vessel. Careful now. Everyone moves slowly. That deck could give way at any moment. Small looks up at you with eyes full of pain and resignation. Mr. Holmes, I suppose this is where it ends for me. But Holmes extends a helping hand. First we save lives, Small. Then we sort out justice. As you help pull the survivors aboard, you get your first clear look at the injured third man. He's elderly, well-dressed despite the circumstances, and bears the weathered look of someone who's spent decades in tropical climates. Who could this mysterious third person be, detective friend? And why was he aboard Small's escape vessel? Watson immediately begins treating the unconscious man's injuries, severe burns from the boiler explosion, and what appears to be a head wound from the impact. He needs immediate medical attention, Watson declares. Inspector, we need to get him to hospital immediately. But Small shakes his head weakly. No hospitals. He made me promise. If anything happened. No authorities. Holmes kneels beside the injured man, studying his face carefully. Small, who is this man? Why is he so important that you risked everything to escape with him? For a moment, Small hesitates. Then, as if a dam has burst, the whole story begins to pour out. His name is Captain Morstan. Arthur Morstan, Mary's father. The words hit like a thunderbolt. Detective friend. What's racing through your mind right now? How could Mary's father be alive when everyone believed he died 10 years ago? Holmes's voice is carefully controlled. Explain. Now. Small takes a shuddering breath. He never died, Mr. Holmes. Major Sholto couldn't bring himself to kill him outright, so he kept him prisoner, all these years, in a hidden room at Pondicherry Lodge. The full horror of the situation becomes clear. Mary's father has been alive all this time, held captive by the man who claimed to be mourning his death. Watson stops his medical work for a moment, stunned. 10 years? He's been imprisoned for 10 years? Worse than imprisoned, Small continues, his voice breaking. Sholto used him as leverage, threatened to kill him if any of us ever tried to claim our rightful share of the treasure. This revelation changes everything, detective friend. What questions are exploding in your mind? How does this transform your understanding of everyone's motivations? Tonga, still dripping from his rescue swim, speaks quietly. Small, good man. Try to save friend. Try to honor promise. Holmes pieces it together rapidly. The pearls sent to Mary, they weren't from a guilty conscience about stealing from her father. They were from her father himself, weren't they? Small nods miserably. Every year, Morstan would beg Sholto to let him send something to his daughter, proof he was still alive. The pearls were a compromise, enough to help her financially, but nothing that would reveal the truth. And when Major Sholto died, Holmes continues, you saw your chance to free Morstan and reclaim the treasure that was rightfully yours. Bartholomew Sholto was planning to turn everything over to the authorities, Small explains. The treasure, the truth about his father's crimes, everything. We couldn't let Morstan remain a prisoner when freedom was so close. But something doesn't add up, detective friend. If they were trying to rescue Mary's father, why did Bartholomew Sholto end up dead? Holmes asks the crucial question. Small, who killed Bartholomew? It wasn't you. The poison dart technique isn't your method. Small's face crumples. It was an accident. Tonga was supposed to disable the guards quietly while I dealt with Bartholomew. But when we got there, Tonga speaks up, his voice heavy with guilt. Man, very scared. Try to call police. Had to stop him. Used too much poison. Very sorry. Not mean to kill. The pieces fall into place with tragic clarity. What appeared to be cold-blooded murder was actually a rescue mission gone wrong. Watson looks up from his patient. His pulse is strengthening. Captain Morstan is going to survive. As if summoned by his name, the injured man's eyes flutter open. His voice is barely a whisper, but the words are clear. Mary. Is my Mary safe? What would you say to a father who's been separated from his daughter for 10 years, detective friend? How do you deliver news that will either break his heart or give him reason to live? Holmes answers gently. Captain Morstan, your daughter is well. She's been searching for you all this time, and she's going to be overjoyed to learn you're alive. Tears stream down the old soldier's weathered cheeks. I thought I'd never see her again. You will, Holmes promises, but first, we need to get you proper medical care. As Lestrade's boat heads back toward London, Small looks at Holmes with something approaching gratitude. What happens to us now, Mr. Holmes? Tonga and me. It's a fair question, detective friend. How do you judge men who committed crimes while trying to rescue an innocent man? What kind of justice fits this situation? Holmes is quiet for a long moment, then speaks. That's not for me to decide, Small. But I'll make sure the court understands the full circumstances, the years of imprisonment, the attempted rescue, the accident that led to Bartholomew's death. And the treasure, Small asks. Will be returned to its rightful owners, Holmes replies firmly. But first, we have a reunion to arrange. As the lights of London emerge through the lifting fog, you realize this case has taught you something profound about the nature of justice, loyalty, and the complex bonds that form between people who have suffered together. The mystery of the Sign of Four is nearly solved, detective friend. But the most important question remains. How do you rebuild a life that's been stolen for 10 years? The answers await at Baker Street, where a daughter is about to discover that sometimes the dead can return to life.